Rin Sawako, Mai Kawabanga, Onbusuman. Mai Kawabanga, also known as Onbusuman, is a supporting character in DandaDan, whose backstory is based on tragedy and redemption. Mai was Rin Sawako's childhood friend. Both of them once together shared the dream of becoming successful idols. They both met each other during their elementary school years, and their friendship blossomed from there on. Both of them tirelessly practiced for a talent show audition, hoping it would become their first step into the world of idol industry. However, right before the audition day, Rin found herself in a very tight spot as her grandmother fell severely ill. She had to choose between attending the event or prioritizing her family. As she told Mai about the occurrence, an argument ensued between both of them. During this argument, they both said harsh words to each other. It reached a point where Mai called out Rin for betraying their dreams. As time passed, both of them regretted their choices, and on the day of the audition, Mai's mother thought about picking Rin up as Mai was very heartbroken because she wasn't attending. On the way to Rin's residence, Mai's car met a tragic accident, resulting in the death of both Mai and her mother. After Mai heard about this incident, she was devastated. She blamed herself for this happening, carrying this guilt in her heart when she entered the high school years. This incidental death of Mai gave birth to her yokai form as an Onbusuman. The unresolved emotions turned her into a yokai spirit that attaches itself to its victim's back and gradually increases its own weight until the victim it is inhabiting is crushed to death. In Mai's case, the victim was of course Rin. As she blames herself for her own death, she ultimately turns into a yokai with the mission of seeking redemption from her own friend. This went on for some time before the condition became life-threatening. Luckily, Seiko and the rest of our main cast were present to exorcise Mai and save Rin. During this process of exorcising Mai, she managed to regain her own complete memories. She soon realized who she was and what she actually desired. During her reconciliation with Rin, she apologized to her and bonded herself to her, turning into a guardian spirit. She changed her goal from haunting her to helping her become a successful idol. After this transformation, her powers also underwent a drastic change. From a destructive spirit, she became a supportive one. Rin's transformation into a spirit form grants her the ability to manipulate gravity, a very versatile ability that allows her to take control of gravitation forces surrounding her. With this strength, Rin can levitate any object, both living and non-living. Though its primary characteristics are particularly good in immobilizing enemies, it can also deflect incoming attacks and let her maneuver through the terrain. It basically works by changing the gravitational pull of her targets, giving her versatile combat options. One thing about her ability is that although it may seem like a broken ability, her powers are not offensively strong at all. This is because the most she can do is lift obstacles, alter the battlefield, or disorient her foes. But there is a requirement she has to fulfill to activate this ability. She has to be singing uninterruptedly. If she is either disturbed or silenced by something like the fairy tale card's ability Mouth Erasure, then her ability to manipulate gravity is nullified immediately. This makes her useless in battles where combat is fast-paced. She also lacks any physical strength, making her useless in any physical combat that may arise. But her gravity manipulation power set makes her more substantial than most of the cast. These unique abilities that Rin holds also connect to Mai's goal. It forces her to focus on her performance on top of the ongoing combat, basically serving as a reminder that they are a pathway for achieving their shared dreams. Unjizuma, Umbrella Boy. Unjizuma and Futazuma, the two brothers, face a very emotionally challenged connection. You could say that their relationship exceeds the laws of existence, as Futa's tragic death leads to his transformation into the Umbrella Boy yokai, and this yokai's bond with Unji further defines his character. Futa was a joyful kid who cherished the smallest of gifts he received. As his family was already struggling and their father was dead, Unji took over the role of becoming Futa's protector. This was all while their mother was working overtime to provide for them. Futa treasured the umbrella and rain boots his mother had gifted him. He vowed to always keep them by his side until one rainy day tragedy struck. On his way home, the umbrella flew off from Futa's hand in the heavy rain. He chased it all the way into a river where he drowned. His death devastated the whole family, and later Unji's mother also took her own life. Futa's spirit remained at the place of his incident even after he died. Due to his untimely death, he was unable to find peace. Hence, he turned into the Umbrella Boy yokai. Umbrella Boy was an ominous cyclopean entity who managed to still keep his sweet core. After some years, Futa was able to reunite with Unji when he appeared at the same spot, rushing to save two more kids who were about to drown in the same river. Futa appears in front of Unji, offering him him his own powers. This cements their bond, transforming Unji into a vessel for Umbrella Boy. In his spirit form, Unji undergoes a physical transformation. He also picks a chivalrous and noble personality which reflects his brother's nature. His physical abilities reach the level of a superhuman, allowing him to do stuff normal humans cannot. His signature ability is donning two parasols filled with immense energy. They can be both used as weapons or as tools of destruction, which release an overwhelming shockwave in the direction they are facing, destroying and incapacitating anything in their path. This transformation of his is not only a change in his demeanor, but also a showcase of his tactical abilities. The parasols he uses give him access to shockwave attacks that can destroy anything that comes in their path. However, these parasols not only release destructive energy, but also increase Unji's mobility. By using the parasol's shockwave ability, Unji can produce propulsions that allow him to launch himself into the sky and travel long distances in moments. This application also gives him an elusive nature, as he is basically untouchable once he is propelled from the shockwave blasts. He can maneuver the sky and dodge attacks. Furthermore, the parasols are also used as weapons to parry strikes, deflect objects, and damage his opponents. There are many approaches to using this weapon. It all just falls down to how creative Unji is with his ability to utilize the limited availability of such parasols. But this ability also has a major drawback. The shockwave can only be utilized once per parasol. Once used, the parasols vanish and can't be conjured again. This drawback constrains Unji from using them strategically, or else he won't have any weapons to fight with. The parasols are very durable as they are capable of deflecting attacks and also deal insane amounts of damage at close range. While in this transformation, Unji fights like a chivalrous knight with standards. He doesn't show unwanted aggression, as being a noble, kind-hearted individual represents his brother's characteristics. Therefore, he also utilizes his parasols to minimize any incoming damage and shield his allies. Apart from this, it can be said that Unji's Umbrella Boy transformation is still incomplete. The connection between him and his brother's yokai is still not strong, and there is still room for growth. This can be seen after looking at the fairy tale cards taking control of Umbrella Boy. The yokai summoned a single parasol with a near infinite number of uses. This took the destruction level to an incomprehensible level. Unji still hasn't reached this mastery, but similar to how Okaron mastered Turbo Granny's abilities, he can also master Umbrella Boy's and get stronger. This bond tends to show us how emotional depth is linked with supernatural action in this universe. The abilities of Umbrella Boy are also a gift and a reminder to what Unji has lost. Both the brothers are tied together, and to unlock the full extent of their powers, they need to have a stronger emotional connection. Parasols are the image of this connection that show us that Futa still lives on within Unji. Aira Shiratori, Acrobatic Silky. Acrobatic Silky's aura merging with Aira Shiratori gave rise to a spirit form that was both strong and enchanting. This spirit form transforms Aira into a magnificent fighter with incredible physical strength. In her Acrobatic Silky form, Aira gains superhuman strength that transcends that of an ordinary human. She also gains increased flexibility, which gives her a weird and fluid combat style. Furthermore, she also has the ability to control her hair freely like it's her own extended body part. Her hairs grow massively and gains durability strong enough to restrain her opponents by either entangling them in her hair or striking them by using her hair like a whip. The hair is basically a multifunctional tool that acts as both a durable shield and an offensive weapon. Beyond this, she can also equip her hair with objects that further enhance her combat style. The flexibility she gains allows her to perform complex acrobatic movements that a normal human cannot perform. She becomes an acrobatic master, so to say, and continues to perform swift, complex movements with no difficulty. This also gives her the ability to evade opponents' attacks and counterattack easily. Her speed only matches that of Okaron in his early Turbo Granny's days, but she can still perform multiple actions faster than anyone else in a short frame of time. This gives her an edge in battles where fast reflexes might be a key to winning. Her lower body and core become quite developed, and she also receives a major strength buff. Having a strong core allows her to keep her balance and perform complex movements with ease. On top of this, she has that leg strength that lets her drill strong kicks into her enemies. All of these abilities showcase the perfect balance she has between her power and precision. Her combat approach requires her to combine strength, speed, and technique to create a style that seamlessly adapts to any scenario. Aira also gains a huge stamina boost. This is to make sure that she stays available during long long stretched battles. The acrobatic skills allow her to basically become elusive. She can maneuver through and terrain swiftly without any trouble, all while avoiding any incoming attacks from her foes. This, paired with a large amount of stamina and endurance, gives her a strategic advantage. But even despite these abilities in her arsenal, she also doesn't come without any limiting factor. You see, although Aira's hairs are her main weapon, they are still very susceptible to flames. Covering a lot of area, they are easily exposed to fire, which results in them getting entangled or damaged, reducing their effectiveness in combat. This is her vulnerability, which stops her from fighting in places where fire can erupt. Even though she still has the ability to adapt to such situations, they remain a threat to her. Her transformation has a deep meaning for her connection with Acrobatic Silky. The only reason she willingly gave her aura to Aira was because her maternal instincts kick in. She didn't want Aira to be harmed in any way, and that's why Acrobatic gave up her life for her. This plot adds a significant layer to Aira's character, as the abilities she uses represent the depth of bond between her and Acrobatic Silky. But what's to be noted is that having these skills up her sleeves puts Aira into one of the most capable fighters out of the main cast. Her acrobatic mastery and strength put her in a spot where if she is placed in any unfair challenge, it is without a doubt to say that she will rise up and potentially outwit her opponents in their own game. She remains a versatile fighter with limitless potential paired with strong force. The pathway she chose showcases the determination and enduring spirit she has in carrying on the legacy of Acrobatic Silky and protecting her allies. Jin and Joji, Evil Eye. Gigi's Evil Eye transformation is said to be one of the most unique and dangerous spirit forms in DandaDan. Evil Eye is a yokai born from the souls of sacrificed children. It's a very different form as compared to other characters who hold their power due to a symbiotic relationship. Gigi's transformation is an involuntary one. After becoming a vessel for Evil Eye, Gigi loses control of his body, turning into a puppet of the yokai. Because Gigi already has potent spiritual energy, his body serves as a perfect vessel for Evil Eye. It is a body he can inhabit to fulfill his revenge against humans. Evil Eye is undoubtedly one of the strongest spirits. His first introduction was during the Cursed House arc, where we got a glimpse of his immense raw power. Unlike other yokai who can't remember the exact details of their re-emergence, Evil Eye accurately remembers all the grudges he has against the Kido family who sacrificed him when he was still a kid. He can further use these grudges to form tangible energy particles that he can mold into any form he wants. One application of this ability is the Cursed House itself. It can be utilized for multiple purposes, including confining a person or defending against attacks. As the name suggests, it is a large house that shields Evil Eye from any incoming attack. It basically acts as a fortress for him, constructed to defend him from anything coming in its path. Beyond this, the Cursed House also has offensive capabilities. It can be used to restrict the opponent's movements or trap them inside it. This is done by manipulating the size of the house. This function lets Evil Eye make unpredictable changes with the house. But despite its use, the Cursed House isn't an invincible construct. Much is expected from this house by the Evil Eye itself, but a powerful and perfectly timed attack could easily break this house. Okaron is the one who managed to prove this. He built up sufficient strength and then broke through the house with a single devastating strike. This shows that the house can be easily overthrown by an opponent equal or stronger than the Evil Eye. Even while being heavily resilient, it isn't impenetrable. Furthermore, Evil Eye also has a lot of offensive abilities. One of the examples of the application of his grudges is the Grudge Balls, which involves him creating small solid forms made of dense energy. These balls are condensed into a soccer ball and then kicked with a strong force toward the opponents. Once released, the balls act like a homing missile, chasing its enemies relentlessly, making it impossible to avoid them. These balls can also adapt to their terrain, making it realistically impossible to dodge them. They can only be countered by an opponent who matches the might of Evil Eye. Furthermore, he can summon not only one, but multiple Grudge Balls and throw them at once. These balls barrage the enemy with immense destructive power. Even if one accidentally misses, the rest are enough to assault and force the enemy into a defensive position. As these these balls are energy or spirit constructs, they can also be used to hit intangible objects such as Momo's psychic abilities. One of the only ways to counter this ability is either having extraordinary strength or an insane amount of speed to dodge them. But even with all these abilities, Evil Eye still has a critical limitation. That is, the Evil Eye is surprisingly weak to warm liquids. If the yokai or Gigi comes into a contact with any kind of warm water, then the spirit is incapacitated. By doing this, the family can easily halt the Evil Eye and also get Gigi out of control. It is an interesting weakness for a yokai with such unpredictable strength. For now, Gigi can't do anything about Evil Eye, but with his spiritual potential, someday he might be able to take back control of his body if ever the Evil Eye takes over. But until that happens, he remains a puppet for potentially the most fearsome force in DandaDan. Evil Eye and Gigi are a force of destruction with no assurance of what's going to happen next. This makes him an unpredictable force. Okaron. Turbo Granny. Okaron and Turbo Granny's transformation in DandaDan is a pivotal element. This transformation was caused by Okaron retaining Turbo Granny's aura even after she was withdrawn from his body. It leads to him receiving major physical buffs, becoming a superhuman with improved strength, speed, and endurance, along with a change in his personality, transforming into an apathetic and gloomy person. After first receiving her powers in his battle, Okaron struggles to utilize her speed. This is because she can travel at the maximum velocity of 100 kilometers per hour. Okaron was only able to reach this speed twice per his transformation, and that also put a lot of toll on his body. This kept him from fully utilizing the abilities of Turbo Granny and also going full out with them during a battle. Though, of course, he slowly refined his abilities through training and experience. His early uses of them allowed him to do major stunts against the incoming attacks of Flatwood's monster and the Earthbound Spirit Crab. This showed just how much potential these abilities have. Increasing his physical abilities seems to be the key to accessing Granny's full speed. As he grows stronger, he is able to utilize her speed without any restrictions. The training makes him more agile and durable. He can swiftly dodge his enemies' attacks and counter them repeatedly with his fast speed and reflexes. This puts him levels above other spirit form users, as despite having other applications of their own yokai, they don't have the speed to outmaneuver anyone. On the battlefield, Okaron has a very intimidating presence. Despite being a gloomy individual in this form, he still delivers heavy strikes with his headbutts and bites, which makes him an annoying opponent to face in close-range combat. After a couple of arcs, Okaron gains a grasp of his yokai form abilities and improves substantially. He becomes able to use Turbo Granny's full power without any limitations. His physical stature improves, and he becomes athletic enough to enhance his own skills and reflexes. He can also move at her top speed more than twice a run. This progress enables him to fight even more effectively, turning him into a formidable opponent to face. In one instance, Okaron also possessed the ability to enter astral projection. He was able to separate his own soul from his body. Though this happened accidentally to him, it is quite possible that this was due to Okaron's own spiritual energy becoming potent. In his astral form, Okaron basically becomes invisible to everyone else and can surf around the area for a limited amount of time. The longer he stays in his astral form, the weaker his connection with his body becomes. The risk is that if the connection breaks, then Okaron will be forever trapped in his astral form, and he won't be able to return to his body or the world of living. Despite having superhuman characteristics, Okaron has limitations put on himself as well. You see, once he overthrows the Turbo Granny's limiter and overuses her abilities, he becomes incapacitated, losing his form and unable to even take a step forward. Therefore, he has to act strategically and avoid overusing his abilities at any cost in long stretch battles, as it could leave him in a vulnerable spot. On top of this, in his spirit form, Okaron loses the ability to swim. This puts him at a major disadvantage in liquid-based environments. These restrictions force him to act intelligently and fight tactically. He knows that his abilities are not limitless. Therefore, he has to trust his judgment and act accordingly to get through each situation. Momo helps him out most of the time, proving her partnership crucial for Okaron to succeed, but he also soon learns how to access and act in situations by himself. He shines most during the heat of a battle when the chances of survival are low. He gets through it at the last moments, proving to us why he is one of our favorite shonen protagonists. These moments are what make DandaDan adventurous and engaging.